Iran's leaders met to try and pick a new successor, and this is what happened.
Yeah, Bill, Dana, good morning. I do want to just start with some breaking news here before I show you the scene of one of these cluster munition impacts just outside of Tel Aviv.
Man.
But I'm told by a senior Israeli official that the Israelis just struck the Supreme Council gathering where the Iranians were meeting to choose a new supreme leader. This is a significant development and, again, speaks to the Israeli intelligence about this war.
Crazy.
They just targeted the meeting in Tehran where what's left of the leadership was gathering to choose a new supreme leader. The Iranians are continuing their attacks against Israel. Right now, we are in the community of Bnei Brak. It's a religious community outside of Tel Aviv. And you can see where the police and first responders say part of a cluster munition that was attached to the warhead of a ballistic missile slammed into this apartment block.
Oh, man.
And again, police and first responders say it's a miracle that no one was killed. People were home at the time.
Thank God everyone survived.
Area is filled with children because the Israelis are celebrating the holiday of Purim.
And this is who the Iranians have decided to indiscriminately target and attack. This is not a military target.
And so just a remarkable scene here. You can see that all of these kids are dressed up for Purim. This is considered one of the most joyful holidays in Judaism. It commemorates the events of the Book of Esther.
And they
it is when the Jews of ancient Persia were saved by a plot to destroy them. And so this is a holiday here where people dress up in costumes and they celebrate. And this whole neighborhood is filled with families and children. And thankfully, none of them were seriously injured or killed by this missile attack. But this came, as you saw live on Fox, in a large barrage launched from the Iranian regime.
That's terrible,
man. And one of those cluster munitions exploded, and there is damage not just to this building, but this entire area because it rained down on the civilian population below.
It's terrible. How do you negotiate with a regime like this? If they want to have peace talks, if they want to have a ceasefire and they say, okay, all right, we won't pursue a nuclear missile or we won't pursue long-range ballistic missiles. I mean, this is how they use the missiles they have. Can they be trusted?
This assembly of clerics is significant for the succession of the next leader in Iran. They would be meeting in the town of Qom, Q-O-M, south of Tehran.
That's where the meeting
marked by
was.
This blue dot right here on the map. What the Israelis are telling us over the past 12 hours or so, they've hit 60 different strikes going after missiles and other parts of the Iranian terror regime throughout the country.
That's crazy.
So let's keep a very close eye on this. Meanwhile, in the Persian Gulf, you got the Iranian Navy, of which they had 11 ships, and this is one of them. All 11 have been disassembled in the Persian Gulf, and they are out of service. And I guess
so it looks like their entire ability to wage war now no longer exists, and they're having trouble picking a new leader because when they gather to pick a new leader, the meeting's been leaked, or Israeli intelligence or U.S. intelligence knows about it, and then the meeting gets targeted.
They have no Navy. It's been knocked out. They have no Air Force. It's been knocked out.
Wow.
They have no air detection. That's been knocked out. Their radar has been knocked out. And
they should surrender.
Just about everything's been knocked out. They're going to be in for a lot of hurt.
And step
down. So these are bad people. And the leader of the pack is gone.
Wow.
And as you know, 49 people were taken out in the first hit. And I guess there was another hit today on the new leadership. And it looks like that was pretty substantial also.
Just step down. That's the message here. Don't wage a campaign that involves attacking villages in Israel where you don't even have military targets. Don't launch missiles at the Gulf allies like Saudi Arabia and everybody else. Give this country back to the Iranian people who've waited 50 years to pursue their own destiny.
I'd like to give you an operational update on where we are and provide you with some key facts. By order of the President of the United States and the Secretary of War, our military in the Middle East is undertaking an unprecedented operation to eliminate Iran's ability to threaten Americans, as they've been doing for nearly half a century.
Oh, wow.
Having spent more than 36 years in the military, I could not be prouder of America's sons and daughters in uniform who are answering the call. More than 50,000 troops, 200 fighters, 2 aircraft carriers, and bombers from the United States are participating in this operation.
Stealth
and more
bombs.
capability is on the way.
More capability.
These forces bring a massive amount of firepower, representing the largest buildup by the U.S. in the Middle East in a generation.
Bigger than Desert Storm?
In the opening hours of Operation Epic Fury, U.S. Central Command forces, together with Israel, delivered overwhelming and unprecedented strikes into Iran. Many of you may remember the shock and awe strikes of 2003. The first 24 hours of this operation were nearly double the scale, and we continue with 24/7 strikes into Iran from seabed to space and cyberspace.
Wow.
Now, we're less than 100 hours into this operation, and we've already struck nearly 2,000 targets with more than 2,000 munitions.
That's crazy.
We have severely degraded Iran's air defenses and destroyed hundreds of Iran's ballistic missiles, launchers, and drones.
And now, the equipment they have left, they're apparently willing to send against non-military targets, which is what the United States and Israel always get accused of doing by people who want to see this regime make it out.
In simple terms, we're focused on shooting all the things that can shoot at us. Our B-2 bombers and B-1 bombers have executed uncontested surgical strikes against multiple missile facilities deep inside Iran.
Oh, they sent in the B-2s.
And then just last night, a B-52 bomber force struck ballistic missile and command and control posts.
Wow.
We are also sinking the Iranian Navy, the entire Navy.
The entire
Thus
Navy.
far, we've destroyed 17 Iranian ships, including the most operational Iranian submarine that now has a hole in its side.
Wow.
For decades,
No
the Iranian
subs either.
regime has harassed international shipping. Today, there's not a single Iranian ship underway in the Arabian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz, or Gulf of Oman.
Well, that's over.
And we will not stop. We will continue to conduct dynamic targeting operations. We're hunting Iran's last remaining mobile ballistic missile launchers to eliminate what I would characterize as their lingering launch capability.
Lingering launch.
Now, in retaliation, the Iranian regime has launched over 500 ballistic
That's
missiles
this.
and over 2,000 drones.
That's terrible.
To be clear, Iran is indiscriminately targeting civilians as they launch these missiles and drones.
That's awful,
You've seen
man.
it on TV. The evidence is crystal clear and overwhelming.
Now, how do you let this regime walk away in charge of this country when this is how they use the resources of this country? They're taking the resources that belong to the Iranian people. And what are they doing with them? They're selling them in the form of sanctioned oil off to countries like China. And then they take all that money and they build these types of weapons with it that they want to send against hotels and airports. And now we're seeing their true colors, aren't we?
Having said this, we are seeing Iran's ability to hit us and our partners is declining, while our combat power, on the other hand, is building. And my overall operational assessment is that we are ahead of our game plan. Along the way, every single branch of our military is achieving unprecedented success. I'll talk about just a few of them. Our naval forces have deployed multiple waves of cruise missiles, obliterating Iranian command and control and air defense capabilities. From 2 aircraft carrier strike groups, we're squeezing Iran from the sea.
This is not going to be a long conflict.
Ports. U.S. air forces are doing what they do best, executing a high volume of airstrikes right into Iran. Operationally, the 2 most powerful air forces in the world, the U.S. and Israel, are dominating the skies of the world's largest state-sponsored terror. Our U.S. Army soldiers are defending ourselves and our partners, and in a historic first, the U.S. Army fired long-range precision strike missiles called PRISMs in combat, providing an unrivaled deep strike capability. Also for the first time, U.S. Central Command's drone task force, called Task Force Scorpion Strike, launched countless one-way attack drones, achieving massive effects. I'd like to point out these drones were originally an Iranian design. We took them back to America, made them better, and fired them right back at Iran. I just could not be prouder of our men and women in uniform, leveraging innovation to create dilemmas for the enemy. There is no adversary too determined.
This here is the PRISM missile system. It is a next generation surface-to-surface ballistic missile, and this is the first time it has been used in combat. In the context of current Iran operations, PRISM gave commanders greater standoff, volume of fire, and flexibility, striking far beyond what older systems were able to reach, which keeps our forces that are on the ground safer because they're further from the front lines.
Now, this is breaking news, and it comes to us from U.S. Central Command. Our military is making history on the battlefield. New video shows long-range precision strike missiles being used in combat for the first time ever.
These are those
CENTCOM
missiles.
says they provide unrivaled deep strike capability. And here is the moment the U.S. destroyed an Iranian naval ship with a torpedo. This was in the Indian Ocean. It was the first time a submarine has sunk an enemy ship with a torpedo since World War II.
Wow.
Our military has struck or sunk more than 20 Iranian ships so far. These images show the attack from last night on a Soleimani-class warship. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says we've virtually wiped out Iran's leadership. Watch this.
So what are they going to do?
The so-called governing council that might have selected a successor, dead, missing, or cowering in bunkers. They can't talk or communicate, let alone mount a coordinated and sustained offensive. The Iranian Air Force is no more. The Iranian Navy rests at the bottom of the Persian Gulf. Combat ineffective, decimated, destroyed, defeated. Last night, we sunk their prize ship, the Soleimani.
It's over.
Looks like POTUS got him
Their
twice.
flagship.
He says we're winning hands down. The gentleman on the right-hand side of the screen is General Jack Keane. General, Iran's deputy foreign minister just did an interview with MS Now, and he said a new leader has not been chosen. He says an interim body of 3 people running the country at the...
Why would you want to run this regime? That's the question that I have. Why would you want to run Iran right now if the whole operation is compromised? If the intelligence apparatuses know where these meetings are taking place, have infested these organizations, know what's going on inside of them, know everything about them? Who wants that job? Nobody. I think collapse is going to happen.
Leader, General, looks like they're all over the place.
The election of a supreme
They're trying
leader.
to control the message. And
I've
they're
never
not
heard
being
that one
successful
before.
on it. What do you say?
Yeah, they're in a desperate stage for sure, and we're beginning to see the fissures, to be sure, and they're on a pathway to major problems and likely some kind of collapse of this regime. We don't know for certain, but that's clearly, it appears that pathway is right in front of us.
Let's say you're part of the Iranian military. You see your entire Navy get wiped out. Your Air Force is useless. You can't even detect incoming threats, which means when a B-52 bomber from the Cold War flies over your territory, nobody even knows it's there until it does its thing. It's not even a stealth aircraft. If that's your military situation and you call on the phone to your bosses, to the people who are supposed to be running your country and ask them what to do, and they say, oh, we don't know who's in charge. I mean, how long is this thing going to stand on its own 2 feet for?
What we have been able to achieve militarily is really quite remarkable, and it's a fulfillment of the very ambitious plans that we had put together based on excellent intelligence and the very experienced forces that are at play here and knowing what we could do.
Right.
Based on that intelligence.
This is not going to be long conflict, that's for sure.
On the battlefield here, the 2 most proven militaries in the world today.
Yep, working together.
They have the most experience, and for the first time ever, they are working on a combined operation that has common goals together. And that's, nobody can stand up to that.
Right.
And certainly not the Iranians, who are already in a weakened condition.
Right.
So let's take an example, ballistic missiles. That was the major conventional system that they have.
Those are getting
and
wiped
something
out.
that we were both very concerned about, the United States and Israel. And on day one, we did massive attacks on that. So much so that it reduced their ability to retaliate. Remember, on day one, they were saying weakened response, Israelis and the CENTCOM people
crazy.
as well.
So they couldn't do anything. The one ace in their hole they have all the systems ready to launch drones. They have all the systems ready to fire off all these missiles. And what happens? Day one, those are all wiped out for the most part. And now, as the other general said, they have a lingering launch capability. They have a few scattered forces here and there that don't know what to do or what to fire at. That's their capability. They don't even have radar to know where to aim these things.
And then our ambition is that by day 3, we would reduce their ability to retaliate and conduct attacks against U.S. bases and Israelis by 75%. That is exactly retaliation diminishment that we achieved on day 3. Now it's up, according to the briefing we just heard by Chairman Kaine and Secretary Hegseth, somewhere around 86%.
Wow.
That's just an example. The Navy's gone, the Air Force is gone, and certainly the drones are being depleted rather dramatically. The retaliation impact on them is 73%. And on missile penetration and drone penetration, it's down around 10%.
Oh, wow, so they're not getting through.
That is the reason, Stuart, for, by anybody's definition, light casualties, despite the heartbreak of losing 6 of our soldiers due to a drone attack.
War is always tragic, but you cannot say that this is an unsuccessful operation. The cost exists for this operation, but we're not talking about anything close to what naysayers were predicting if the United States moved on Iran first.
And let me say that as a result of that, certainly that has committed all all of our military forces, both Israeli and American, to make certain that those lives aren't squandered.
Right.
And we finish this thing completely on our terms. That this regime doesn't have the capability to hurt Americans, to hurt Israelis, or destabilize that
or to
region
hurt their
again,
own people,
which they have been doing for almost 50 years.
Yep.
We are seeing the pathway for this to be over.
That's great news. We were told this was going to be a regional conflict. We were told, oh, if the U.S. goes in there, oh, there's going to be a regional conflict. This is going to drag out for years. This is Iraq 2.0. That's what people like Zoran Mamdani, the mayor of New York, and people like Ilhan Omar are saying. They're saying America doesn't want another foreign war. This is not a war. This is going to be over before these people get done complaining about it, that's for sure. And then peace for the Iranian people and prosperity for them for the first time in 50 years. Who could be against that?
That President Trump says our goal is no nuclear weapons, no refining of uranium, no missiles, no drones, no production thereof, and no help for proxies like Hezbollah and Hamas.
That's what they were doing.
Are we going to achieve those goals relatively quickly?
It looks like we already have. How do they support them when they got no army?
Well, we're going to achieve those goals based on the conditions that we're dealing with. So we haven't set a time schedule for that. If we do it in the next 10 days, that'd be fine. But if it takes 3 or more weeks, we got some lousy weather coming in a few days. That'll curb some of our aviation operations, to be sure. The enemy always has a vote here, but not much of one now, given what we've done to them. So we've always had from the beginning what we call a conditions-based operation. Those conditions, our ability to achieve our objectives, drives the length of the mission. So we're not preoccupied with time. We're only preoccupied with the targets assigned to defeat each one of those systems that you just mentioned. And when that is done, then we're likely finished. Now, the Israelis are starting a new phase yesterday.
Oh, really?
And that deals with stripping down everything that sustains the regime. Not only leadership we've seen, but the IRGC, its leaders, its entire organization, its network, communications.
Their military is going to be so decimated. It's going to be time for regime change, because in these regimes, the military is the regime's apparatus for staying in power. These are the people that are loyal to the despots that run these countries. And if those folks aren't around anymore, the despots can't be around either, because the people are now at parity with them, as the military doesn't exist. This is everything the Iranian people need to take back their country and pursue peace, prosperity, and self-determination for the first time in 50 years.
The weapons that they use themselves, where they are in various cities to repress the population. The same thing with the Basel militia, the intelligence security services, and the police infrastructure that's used to repress the people. We fully intend to strip that away, so that at the end of the day, these are the organizations and capabilities that preserve the regime.
Yes, exactly.
The Israelis are going to take that all away. And based on what we're doing to the 4 weapon systems that you just mentioned, when at the end of that, you add all of that up, it's hard to see the regime being able to continue.
And how could that not be the outcome the entire world desires from all of this? How could you be looking at any of this and say, you know, I hope the regime survives? Who could possibly take that position unless their only position in life or in politics is the opposite of whatever President Trump is doing? This is not going to be a long, drawn-out conflict. I think that's very apparent to all of us. There is nothing to even conflict with. There is no army, there is no navy, there is no air force, there's no radar, there's no police force to even go after the Iranian people, and President Trump has kept his promise to them. He has not abandoned them. What do you think is going to happen here? I'll see you in the next video.